AI agents are coming, and I want you as a technology enthusiast and a developer to be prepared for them. You do not have to take my word for it. Just listen to OpenAI, which released a whole new SDK, the Responses API, for building agentic applications. That's what it is for. If you're new here, my name is Sunil and I make AI-related videos for everyone and developers in this AI Life and Dissect channel. So welcome. So you may be wondering, what are AI agents? Well, simply put, they're software programs that can do tasks on behalf of users like you and me using tools. And Responses API is here to help us build them quickly. The new Responses API combines the capabilities of previous Chat Completions API and the Assistance API, simplifying the development of agents. Along with Responses API, they released a few tools, namely the web search tool, the file search tool, and computer use tool. If you have already built some applications using Chat Completions API, don't worry much. They will continue to support it. However, if you built your previous applications using Assistance API, just be aware that they plan to phase it out mid-2026. So you got about a year, a little bit more than a year. So there's no better time to get on the Responses API than now. Well, they went a step ahead and also released Agents SDK for orchestrating multi-agent workflows and a few observability tools to build production-ready agents. The ultimate goal is to simplify and speed up building agentic applications on scale for production. If you're worried about the integrity of your data when using the new Responses API, OpenAI API wants to reassure us that they do not use any business data to train their models. So yes, it is safe. Without wasting much time, let us jump to learn it. In this channel, I use Python primarily for all my AI applications. So if you're new to Python, don't worry. Just spend 1 hour of your time to quickly get up to speed with Python by watching my Python basics video. I will put a link somewhere up. Okay. Well, I prefer to use Jupyter notebooks to showcase my programs in this channel because they allow me to combine chunks of code and notes about that code in the same document while also allowing me to execute the code and show it to you guys. So if you want to follow along, go ahead and install Jupyter Notebook, Google it and install it on your computer. Next, you would need an OpenAI API key with some credits to try out the Responses API. If you're unsure of how to get the API key, watch my Use ChatGPT in your Python program video, which is more geared towards LangChain, but in that video I also show you how to get the API key. So that way you can start get your API key and start using it. In that video I also show you how to securely access your key from your Python program using a special Python package called python-.env package. So go ahead and watch that video. I'll put a link somewhere. So just go ahead and watch that. And one more step before jumping into the code and trying out the Responses API. This is an essential step. If you don't have, you need the OpenAI package. So if you don't have it already installed for Python, go ahead and install it by executing the following command in your command line. I'll show it right here. Pip install OpenAI. Well, if you have it already installed, you may want to upgrade it by running pip install -upgrade OpenAI. If you are unsure whether it is installed or not, just run this command, pip show OpenAI. If your version is not at least 1.67, then just upgrade it. Anyway, I think it's wise to simply upgrade it using pip install. Either way, just to get the latest SDK from OpenAI. I'll do that. I'll do just that in this video. So follow along if you're interested. Now we're all set to make our first call to OpenAI using Responses API. So here we go. In this program, the first statement from .env import load_.env. What does it do? Well, it is paired with this other function called load_.env. That's the function call. What it does is it reads the .env file and loads your API keys into memory and makes them available for your OpenAI SDK. So the next statement is self-explanatory. From OpenAI, you want to import the OpenAI package. Next, you want to create your instance of client, OpenAI client, using the statement client is equal to OpenAI. After that is where you start communicating with your OpenAI LLM model, or you're using your responses SDK. So the way you do that is using the client object you just created, okay, and then client.responses.create. You may want to remember that that is how you make your communication with the OpenAI or the AI model. So inside that, you got two parameters are specified here. The first parameter is the model which you want to use, the AI model which you want to use, and then the input, which is basically the query you want to ask the AI model. And you want to, and here I captured the response which is coming from the AI in my response variable, and then I printed it out using response.output_text. The response from the model is more complicated than what is shown here. Most importantly, it will contain an output property which will have an array of items generated by the model when it is applicable. However, we simplify our consumption of this output when supported using output_text property as shown in the video, which is actually a derived property which can be accessed using the response object as shown. The response object is the response from the AI model. So it's a variable which captures the response from the AI model. So let us take a moment to examine the entire response object. We can print that using some packages that help us print out JSON, which comes with the Jupyter notebook. The idea is to be able to properly examine the output from the LLM model. So let's have a look. As you can see, the output property is truly an array of messages from the LLM. Next, let us see how we can specify the roles in your messages to the model. Similar to the chat completions, we can use some special properties in our input to the model, which is when we call the create method and the client.responses.create. So these properties allow us to tell the model how to act when responding. The special properties we're talking about here are the instructions and the input. These are the two properties. So let's first look at the instructions property. This property allows us to inform the AI model on how it should behave or act as. On the other hand, input property allows us to actually supply the AI model with the query we want to ask the AI model. So this is basically what you want to ask the LLM engine. So let's have some fun by tweaking these properties by especially the instructions property for the same query. So in other words, let's see how the same query yields different responses when we tell the AI model to act differently each time we ask the same query. We created our OpenAI client object, client property, and then we did the same thing we did before. We used that client object to call the AI model using the responses.create method, and we specified the model, which is ChatGPT 4o mini, because it is less expensive than the regular GPT 4o or the next one 4.5, I think. Those things are expensive. So instructions, I said this is where we're going to have fun. So the input, let's look at the input first. The input says, is eating 5 Sundays a day bad? That's the question. Now let us see how different personalities, different characters will respond to this query. So let's start with act like a parent, right? That's what I have here. And also just notice that I limited my output tokens to 200 because I don't want to be charged, because you get charged by the number of tokens you consume, you input, and the number of tokens the AI will output to you. So let's see. I have the query already, and you can see the response here for yourself. It says, yes, eating 5 Sundays a day is generally not healthy. while they can be fun to treat, just like a parent says to a kid. So let's see next time. Let's tweak this to say, how would a grandma respond? Because grandmas like kids. Grandma act like a grandma, and let's see how they respond. If we're telling essentially the AI to respond to this same question as a grandma, and you can see a whole tone change. It started with "oh dear, sweetie," all the lovey-dovey words which a grandma would say to a grandkid, just being nice. Now let's take quite the opposite, okay? Let's say act like a PT teacher. The PT teachers are usually pretty tough. They want the kids to be in the best shape. Yeah, you aren't going to be in best shape if you eat 5 sundaes a day. So let's see how would an AI respond if the same query was asked, if we tell AI to act like a PT teacher and respond to the same query. And you can see the response. On the other hand, let's see how would a dentist act like a dentist. More specifically, as a pediatric dentist, right? Let's see how would they respond to the same query. Again, it's a pretty balanced response, and you can see talk about cavities, tooth decay, and you expect that from a dentist, don't you? So I hope you got a good idea of how instructions property can be used to tweak the behavior of the AI, and that is a good takeaway from this video. So overall, I hope you're having some fun learning the Responses API with me, and I hope you're convinced how simple it is and how powerful it is mainly. So I hope to see you in my next video, where we can learn how to use image processing capabilities of AI models to your advantage. And I will have some cool examples ready for you. And if you like this video, if you got value from this video, please subscribe to this channel and hit that like button. Thank you.